Man, it kicked me out. I needed a invite. I'm not surprised.
Well, you can see in Italy, it's cloudy. As for qualifying for Tier 1 will begin, we're waiting for an invite for Zach. He unfortunately got kicked out of the session and it was loading in, which was unfortunate. I am Body 8. I'll be the co-com, as I am for Realistic. And also Tier 4 and Tier 2 at times. And while Zach is loading in, this will be, I guess, the perfect time. I can go ahead and give a rundown of the championship as a bunch of drivers heading out. We'll see what that's about. Chandler Sato leads the championship with 130 points. He has won every race he has entered except once this year. P2 is Skidder with 92 points. He's 38 points back. Sanchez, P3 with 72 points back. Hoop, P4 with 60 points. Vizzy P5 with 57. Kevin is in P6. He's 3 points back with 54 points. Bailey is P7 with 48 points. Pironi is P8 with 40. Axe is tied with Jack with 9th place with 30. Actually, we have a four-way tie for 9th place of 4 drivers tied with 30 points. Interesting. For the constructors, Mercedes leads with 160 points. They have a 38-point lead over Haas's in P2. McLaren is in P3 with 90 points. Alfa Romeo is P4 with 82. They're just 8 points back of McLaren. Red Bull is P5 with 60, just 30 points back from McLaren for P3. Alpine's P6 with 57, 3 points back from Red Bull. Aston Martin has 54 points. They're tied with Ferrari actually for 54 points. For P7. P9 is AlphaTauri with 31 points, and then P10 is Williams with 30 points. Zach, are you here?
Yes, I am here. And yes, you heard it from Walt. We're here for the Tier 1 Grand Prix at Monza, or located in Italy. Monza, is usually known for the Temple of Speed here. It's its nickname. It is very fast around here, and like you said, most of these drivers are already out in qualifying. It's overcast.
Well,
I believe, if I had to take a guess, it's probably going to rain soon. This is why all the drivers are out early, already getting these laps in.
You would be correct. I just had a message goes wet in 10 minutes it's qualifying. So everyone is out on track because this might be the only really run you get. You might get a second one. But this might be it. This might be the money attempt here for these guys.
I mean, if it's in 10 minutes, it's approximate weather for the settings, so it could be closer, it could be farther. You never know. So it's better to be safe than sorry right now and get those money attempts in now. Chandler will be the first driver to cross the line, set a lap time, as he sets a purple sector 2, which would be normal since he's the first driver out. There's a yellow flag. That is an AlphaTauri, I believe. That is Axe, probably just getting out of the way, or probably going for another attempt. But Chandler going around Parabolic, and now he's going to come start the first. But come across the start finish line now to set a 19.727 as his banker Luis P2 for 20.3. Is fed up 20.7. Already a lot of these drivers getting the lap set as Jack actually goes top. The Mercedes teammate Chandler goes in 19.6. So these Mercedes drivers already coming out with a bang as they're ahead of constructors, and one of the drivers is leading the drivers.
Yeah, Rexrow went back to the pits. I don't know if he had an issue on his lap. If that's a banker lap, I think every driver in this race would love to have those. Those are impressive to go out there on word go, just set that lap. But not just by Chandler, but Jack as well. As a flag there. I think who is that there? That might be Chandler getting out of the way. Can't tell. It's one of the Mercedes, I believe.
I mean, it's Jack, I believe, since there's a Mercedes and a Red Bull. Yes, it is Jack, just getting out of the way. But only 2 drivers already in this session not being able to set a lap time as of yet. is Wexter and Roscoe. Speaking of Roscoe, he's on a lap right now, going through Sector 2 now, going through the Lesbo 1. Car's looking very tidy, a little bit understeery for the Williams driver. Going to Lesmo 2, it's looking clean, flirting with the track limits, but the game lets him away with that there. Lets him get away from that one. Getting slipstream from the Mercedes, and Jack getting out of the way. Going through Ascari. Ascari is going to be one of the places you have to look out for. And it's interesting to say that Roscoe gets this bit of oversteer due to the curbs. If you are not careful with that curb, especially in Ascari, it could send you flying towards the barriers.
Okay, something that caught me interested is Raptor. Right now he's P10. Well, now it doesn't matter. He's P11, but he went out there on mediums trying to get into the top 10. We'll see what these guys do. I don't see any.
I mean, Raptor is notorious for doing alternate strategy.
Indeed, he is. I
believe. So, looking around, seeing if anybody's on a lap, I do not believe so. Ferrari nuts getting out of the way. So, if you're wondering, one of the drivers is Deer Hunter. If you're wondering why he's not here, he's currently doing the 24 hours of Le Mans. If you could probably see it live, as there is rain. Rain is now out on the track. So, if it's going to be close for these drivers, especially if the rain starts picking up. And I can see the raindrops coming through the halo. I don't see any puddles forming yet, but it's going to be a little bit later than that. But if the rain does indeed pick up, this is probably qualifying over already.
It's going to depend on how much this intensity of the rain is going to be. Chandler's out there. He's looking to improve his time. I think he might be the first one out on an out lap.
He is. Unless in McLaren it is. It's not Feta. No, it is. You're correct. Chandler's in the pit lane. Roscoe retires for the session, so that indicates that he believes that the rain will pick up and he'll go to enter condition. And it's been known if you're on enter compared to softs, especially qualifying, enters is nowhere close to softs.
No.
But Chandler's on a lap now in greasy conditions. It's gonna be very, very hard to improve unless he pulls a Charles Leclerc from 2018 at Brazil. But going through the first chicane, it just does not look like the grip, does not look like the traction will come to him.
Well, the problem with this rain here, it's cooled the track down. He's on the best compound to have to deal with this, but yeah, he's already half a second down. So as you can tell, the track is going away. There's no improving, so it's going to be probably more sensible for Chandler to just make sure not to crash this thing and just bring it back into the pits. Nothing to gain here right now.
Oh, speaking of it, very, very lucky to not DNF from that, but let's be honest, it doesn't even matter.
No.
Unless the rain just all of a sudden disappears. And I can see the raindrops starting to form on the track, so it's definitely interconditioned now.
Yeah, it is, and being the fact that I like to get a message about the race itself. It's going to be a dry race, so if it was going to be a wet race, I could understand if drivers go out and have a handful of laps on inters just to get some knowledge. Sada has inters strapped up. He might just have a lap just to have some fun, but this is probably the order that you're going to see. So we'll get a Mercedes front row lockout. We'll get that. Chandler has retired. And then we'll get Bailey in P3. Max P4, as everyone's basically retiring now. So this is actually going to be a shorter qualifying session than maybe usual.
I mean, yeah, everybody's retiring, as you see the Haas of Extra doing a little donuts there for celebration for starting last, as everyone is retired for the session. Fetta's going out on inters. Let's go. We get to see some action, but what I was going on about before the inters, not before the inters, the rain decided to come down. If you're wondering, a certain driver is not here, which is the name of Deer Hunter. If you noticed that, which, let's be honest, you probably didn't. It's Deer Hunter, but I'm sorry, dear. I love you, but anyway, if you've noticed why he's not here, it's because BRL is currently doing the 24 hours of Le Mans. You see
Yep.
the McLaren of Feta doing little donuts, as BWO has been keeping an eye out on those guys with Castra, Cookie, Deer
Well,
Hunter. So, boy, how have they been doing so far?
they've been doing pretty good. We've not had a straightforward race. We've had some issues, but it is Le Mans. It's endurance racing. You rarely get a clean race. But last time I checked, you were P2, and let me take a look at that real quick while we got some time. Who's in the car that we have? I think it's Peter. If I just mispronounced your name, I apologize. Yep. So BRL sits P2 in the race. We're 2 laps back from P1. Actually, we just had an issue.
Ooh, Moo-Moo's left the session. If it has to get him an invite. Here, I will send him an invite.
Actually, I should have done that. I was watching what happened. Oh, well, we have an issue. Well, it's endurance racing. We'll be fine. I will say.
What's happened, Ball? What's happened, Ball? Did we jinx them?
No, we didn't jinx them. During the Dunlop chicane, if anyone is familiar with Le Mans, I think it was a prototype. Couldn't tell if it was LMP1 or LMP2. Lost it, and yeah, our driver really had not much to go there. Pretty much just, hey, here's this. Try to avoid it, but good luck. So that was unfortunate, but it's what it is.
But yeah, it is what it is. You still have what, like 12 hours to go? More than that. 14, 13,
it's
but
a little bit less than 11, but yeah.
yeah, but as you can see on the screen now, Feta Cheese has retired from the session, and now we're currently loading into the Grand Prix, which will start off the formation lap. So I'm expecting a lot of DRS trains because that's what we saw last season, and most of Tier 1 this season is a lot of the same drivers, so we're probably going to see a lot of action, and me and Bois will be here to cover it, all of it, or at least try to.
Better conditions for the race. Sun is out.
Go get that sunshine, get tanned. Not me, though, because I'm Irish, I can't get tanned. I have to stay white.
Even though this was a wet session for qualifying, everyone set their times on slick, so these guys will have to start on the slick tires that they use for qualifying, but it was only 1 lap, so they all should be on equal wear in terms of tire life being on the track. Interesting to see what a handful of people do after P10.
Fun fact, if you hit the pause menu, then you go to Race Tractor, you can see what they're doing. Unless you know and you just don't want to be spoiled.
Oh, I hate you. But very well done. So, we have P12, P13. They're doing mediums. That'd be Roscoe and Rexrow. Raptor's going to go on softs, looks like, unless something changes in the next 15 seconds.
I have popcorn right next to me, so.
Yeah, hopefully we get some popcorn action.
Yeah, I have some popcorn. You want some? But anyway, formation lap is now underway for the Tier 1 Monza Grand Prix here in Italy. I don't know where in Italy, but all I know it's in Italy, so if you want to know the exact location, do not ask me.
Well, we did see in Tier 2, it was a quick formation lap by, I believe it was Heat and Wave that was on pole. Don't quote me on that. I know it's been an hour.
Yes, you're correct.
A little bit kind of a quick pace that Jack is setting on this formation lap. So one thing I noticed in Tier 2, there was not a very long wait time from when the leader got to the grid and when last place got to the grid. So we'll see what happens here.
I think it's the same amount of drivers, but Akko Benico asked you in Tier 4, instead of the biggest surprise, what do you think is going to be your winner for this Grand Prix?
It's hard to go against Chandler. He's won every race that he's entered this season outside of one. I know he starts P2, but kind of hard to go against him. But I think Jack's going to try to give him a run for his money. So will Bailey. So will Axe. Sanchez has been close to winning this year. So, if I had to make a bet, it's hard to go against Chandler. It really is.
A 4-1 type of bet?
Yeah. If you had to do betting odds for this race, he would be the driver with the highest odds. It's kind of can't really go against it. I mean, the record shows for itself. He's the championship leader, and he's won every race that he's entered in. He hasn't been in 2 races, but I mean, the record speaks for itself. As everyone's getting set up here, everyone's here, so we should get the lights, and they're here.
Yep, 4, 3, 4, 5 red lights in the Tier 1 Monza Grand Prix. Who'll come out on top? And it's lights out, and away we go. As the Mercedes get the equal amount of start, but it seems like Chandler gets the better of Jack, but Jack trying to fight it back, but now going in turn 1, they're going 3 abreast. Try not to hit anybody like what I did, and that is Bailey around in front of the field. It would be the big one, but with ghosting turned off, it's not the big one. But my thing is glitched. Nice, I cannot get off of it. There we go. But now we're having a little bit of scrap between the Aston Martins for P8. Mumu on the outside, gonna be the inside for the second chicane. Very hard on the brakes, goes Mumu, contact, and he's off in front of the Aston Martin. No front wing for Sanchez. A very chaotic first lap so far. But you see the Mercedes of Jack and Chandler and Axe already 2 seconds ahead from the rest of the grid. That, you would be correct.
He's lost his
nose
front
first
wing.
into the barriers.
I think Sanchez having no front wing caught Rexrow out there a little bit. He's left the session. Let's see if I can bring him back in.
But Roscoe trying to find a way around Sanchez with no front wing. He's going to do it the safe way and wait for the end of Parabolica, as he gets ahead of Sanchez into P10 on the alternate strategy. Same with Rexrow, but everyone else is on the main strategy of soft to mediums. But Roscoe and Rexrow are going to be medium to soft. But the first lap of this Tier 1 Monza Grand Prix is now complete. Chandler ahead from Jack, from Axe, from Crispy, from Luis, from Freudenut, from Feta, and Raptor, Bailey, and Roscoe. But these top 3 hanging on very nicely to each other. As you can see, from 4th all the way down to 8th, you have yourself a little bit of DRS train waiting to be formed. And you're asking yourself, what is DRS? When does it even get turned on? Well, the answer for you is, when does the DRS get turned on? It turns on lap 3, which will be next lap. What is DRS? Well, it's called the drag reduction system. It's in the name. It reduces your drag, so that means more top speed for your driver. But in order to get DRS, you have to be within 1 second of the driver ahead of you.
Indeed, you are correct. And right now, the top 3 are Chandler, Jack, Chandler's got the lead. Yeah, those 3 pretty much in that train. You got Crispy about 1.7 back of Axe. He kind of leads the train from P4 all the way back down to P8. Yellow flag. Couldn't caught what it was for.
I couldn't either. But Chandler sits the fastest lap for 22.7. The DRS has now been enabled. Luis sits at 22.6, which means that he is definitely wanting to get around Crispy with the slipstream. Will he be able to respond or go for a dive, as Jack is actually disconnected from the session? He's going to need an invite. Let's see if he can one here.
Yes, let me see if I can do that real quick.
Well, He's about to get passed by Axe here, which he does get passed by Axe. His saving grace will be having to join as soon as possible, because even Axe right now is under threat of losing DRS. Because if he does lose it, it could be all for naught for Jack, but luckily for him, Axe does have DRS, so he could rejoin now and be in a safe position.
Well, that was going on,
But he's
Bailey.
going to have to do it soon.
Well, that was going on. Bailey pitted. I couldn't catch if he got a new front wing or not because of the contact.
Blowing up, he's waiting for Sanchez. They're going to have a little battle for the last
they might
place
have
position.
some fun with that. Sanchez had to pit for a new front wing. Hopefully we can get Jack back in here. But right now, it's now Chandler leading Axe as Moon's retired.
Is that going to be a safety car? Virtual. Let's see if it gets upgraded.
It's a VSC. We'll see. It is a safety car.
That just saved Jack's race right there.
That saved Bailey's race, Sanchez's race, Rexro's race for sure. Hopefully we can get Jack in here. He sits P2, P3. He was P2, but him lagging out caused the problem. But this is basically a nice reset. But I'm going to ask you, because you did this in the race itself, you took mediums to 25 laps, if I'm not mistaken, right?
26.
26.
But
how were those tires at the end of it?
Very understeery. I could barely keep the car on track. It felt like I was fighting a demon.
Well, I will say this, watching it from the outside, the fact that you were being attached to Boje, who had a fresh set of softs, that was impressive. I wouldn't know you were struggling as much as you were. So I bring this up because it's lap 4. Do you pit for mediums here? Do you pit for hards here? Do you stay out? What do you do here? We're about to find that answer.
Well, if I was these guys, I told Chandler in a very sort of realistic, I told him this. If an incident like this occurs, go on the mediums and stretch it. Now here comes everybody in the pit lane.
Yep.
Hopefully, they learned this from me to stretch the mediums all the whole way.
Well,
what I did was, I put on the mediums. I tried to put on 51 brake bias because the higher brake bias you go, the more tower you save. 51 wouldn't cut it for me. I had to go all the way up to 55. So as you see, everybody's going on the mediums to make it the rest of the way.
You know, Jack stayed out. I can't tell if he's an AI or not. Is he an AI?
He is.
He is, okay.
Unfortunately.
That is unfortunate. Because Mercedes was quite in the pickle there. It's great to have...
He's back.
He is back. That's good. Hopefully he's not mad the fact that he's on 4 laps off. But here's the thing that I was about to get to here. Mercedes is in quite the pickle here. It's great to have 2 cars up front as Jack leaves again. I will work on that, but where I'm going at with this is the double stack. It's quite unfortunate when you get a safety car like this because the second car is going to get hampered. I'll try to get Jack in here again.
Uh-huh.
All right, that's been done. So everyone did pit for mediums. So a lot of these guys are going to have to find a way to do 22 laps on these tires, give or take.
I mean, my tire wear was at 75 at the end. So if they know about the higher brake bias you go, the more tire you save, I think they're going to be fine here. I'm expecting them to make the whole way here.
Well, we expect this safety car to probably go at the minimum 1 more lap. We're working lap 5, so now we're going to work lap 6 here. Yeah, it is probably doable. It is more than doable to make this tire last a week. Jack's in a weird spot because if he joins in, he can pit. He'll be basically plumb last once Bailey joins, which they got some work to do to catch this queue.
They're going through Parabolica now, and while the rest of the grid is going towards the second of chicane.
Yeah. Barring anyone having to pit. Oh, I thought Rexo was pitting up first. No, he's not, so... It might be borderline. They might be able to catch them at the end of this lap. I don't think they will, though. Be interesting what race control calls if we do go in this lap or not.
Race control will decide if the safety car will come in this lap. If it does, the safety car pulls off. The leader, aka Jack's AI, will have to slow down in order for it to reach the pit lane in time, and then they can resume racing.
One thing I noticed, Roscoe pitted for softs. So I'm going to look at something real quick. Roscoe started the race on mediums and he goes to softs. Why is that? Softs won't make it to the end. Unless, if I was Roscoe, maybe he would do it this lap. Probably should have done it the lap prior. I would have put Roscoe on mediums now. Because you met the requirement of running 2 compounds.
Let's see if he decides to do that.
Well,
the safety car will not be in the lap. As yes, Roscoe's in.
So he is going to do that. That's a very smart kind of call there. It's kind of sort of when you're the guy in the alternate strategy. An early safety car does kind of hurt you in this position because if the car comes out, it's actually kind of the right window for guys for softs to go to mediums. But you're on the mediums to start. What do you do here? Well, you pit for softs, or you can put for hards if you want. Switch to a different compound, then get back onto the compound that you want for the end. You're going to take this pain here starting 12th, but you don't have to worry about that entire compound issue going forward. You're on the same footing as everyone else. As Jack has rejoined. Jack's a good example, and I'm only using Jack as an example because he's not been here to dictate what he wanted to do. Jack has to pit. 100% has to pit because he's not met that requirement. Everyone else has.
Definitely. He's going to be on the back foot here compared to everyone else literally on the grid. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does as he is back in the session.
Yep.
Which is great news.
Probably wish he was in a better scenario. Probably, as safety car does go in this lap.
As Jack is letting the safety car go. Now he's going to slow everyone down. He's going to dictate the pace. As he's actually gone out a little bit farther, which allows Chandler to get a big gap. As now he finally starts to slow down a little bit more, staying around 120 miles an hour. I would not be surprised if he goes at the end of Parabolica. Well, let's see if I am proving me correct as my thing is broken. As he's still slowing down. I apologize for that screen shake. But now we go as he jumps out Chandler a little bit. But Luis, they're going 3 wide between Luis, Crispy, and Feta. They're able to get it situated. But now there is a big battling for front for P7. They go very deep. Oh, that's contact. Crispy. He's in the grass. And he spins off. Not anticipating Axe to break that early. But that throws Axe off. And now he's under pressure from Luis for P3 for the bottom 7 of the podium, which allows the Mercs drivers to pull even more as Bailey is all over Raptor for P7. Going in the second chicane, very clean from between the two. Make sure you don't hit that curb because your car will go up in the air as Bailey is able to get ahead of Raptor. And now Raptor is under attack from Sanchez and the Aston Martin.
They're not missing up much up front. Jack leads over Chandler. 7 laps solid, he says, but reality is probably like, 4 laps. So he has still some pace with these tires he can. Oh, he almost loses it there on exit.
Oh!
What a save.
Yeah, I thought I saw that. I wasn't sure. But I indeed did, as Sanchez is all over the back of Raptor, not using any battery compared to Raptor using it a little bit to keep him behind as he goes a little bit wide in Parabolica, which allows Sanchez to be all over him as they're going to go wheel to wheel onto the main straight. which starts lap 9, completed 8, as Raptor does not fight it and lets Sanchez through, which falls Raptor down to P9 and Sanchez up to P8 as Crispy is in for a wing change.
Yeah, that was unfortunate on the restart there with Crispy being turned around. He'll go probably back on the set of mediums if he has it available. Yes, he does. And back out he goes. He will be hoping for another safety car.
100%, but it's tier 1, it's going to be a tall order because these drivers are so consistent. Yep. It's going to take something magical for even one of them to crash out here.
Now, you were talking about the DRS train going into this. DRS should be enabled at the end of this lap. P1 to P10 is basically all in the train right now, as Jack has left the session again. Let's see what I can do about that. It's unfortunate.
Yes, as now that will no doubtably hurt his race a lot more as it already has been.
Indeed,
as Chandler gets around him.
Yeah, Chandler around him. Wow, his AI is so fast as that. His AI is actually pulling him off. It's okay.
I think we found someone.
Welcome to artificial intelligence. Now, okay, now it's starting to take effect, but that was interesting.
Yeah, it is. He's racing Axe right now for P3. His AI ain't giving up. It's now Axe is able to get ahead as now his AI starts doing the weird line through there. Cause it to be even more slower. Now his AI is starting to slow up for everybody else. Just very unfortunate for the Mercedes driver, but that was pretty funny to watch.
It was funny in that moment. We're not laughing at you, Jack. It was just weird to see all of a sudden you gain pace as Crispy gets a 5-second for speeding and he retires from the session. So now we have 11 drivers here. Raptor makes a move on Jack.
Yes, as I'm looking up to the front right now because Luis, as of right now, if he keeps his gap, he may be able to get over ahead of Chandler. Sanchez and Aston Martin, first driver time penalty for track limits. It'll be something to look out for as well, but not as much as a talking point considering that most of the drivers have not been able to get the time penalty throughout all the tiers this week.
Luis
as DRS has been enabled, Luis is to the lead he goes. Exactly what happened last season. But now it's going to start to be a little swap between the two, unless one can pull away as Roscoe gets ahead of Jack, which makes Jack P10.
How about Feta here? He's up 6 spots from where he started to P4. He's right in this mix. Good drive for the McLaren driver here.
It is indeed from Feta. Feta always been a driver known for his pace, but not always been able to close out the deal. Let's see if he's able to close it out this week. We still have 15, 14. Oh my lord, Feta! Don't you dare! Don't you dare make me look like a bad man. I got a little scared.
We both were guilty for that, so don't feel bad. He's in the DRS. Hopefully he can gather it up.
Yes, but my heart dropped. I could feel it.
I did.
Yeah, as Axe is all over Chandler using the battery as he's going to pull out to the inside on his rear tire, right next to it actually, of the yellow wool medium tires. Chandler goes a little bit wide and that's Axe ahead of Chandler for P2, and Axe could get a double whammy here with the DRS, and he has more battery than Luis.
Does he make a move for the lead? You don't see often a move down there at Parabolica.
Axe turns off his DRS, which means he's not going to go for a move. Feta, not again. As he goes for a move on Chandler, not able to get the deal done.
Does Chandler have a problem? I haven't seen him make contact or anything with them, but it's a little bit off the pace. Jack has joined, which is good.
Looking at his car, it does not look like has any damage. I think with Feta's move, I think he was just thrown off.
Luis went wide off the Lesmo 2, was able to keep it pointed, but we've seen so many people run wide off the Les 2, Lesmo 1, and Usually that doesn't end well.
No flag sector 2.
I believe that's for the Haas.
I can't tell. That looks like they're going normal pace. Could be just a fake one. But I do not have the gaps on my screen.
Neither
Lovely,
do I.
so I don't know. Okay, great game.
Yeah.
We're going to see it now, but all that we know is that Axe is all over Luis for P number 1. As we're going to finish lap 12 and start lap 13, as now start seeing the gaps. Chandler is almost out of DRS.
Axe.
And he's actually out of it now.
Axe gets moved down. He had about twice more battery than what Luis had at his disposal. Gets P1. So now we have the AlphaTauri of Axe in the lead on lap 13.
A Honda 1-2, but not the red Honda in first. It's the AlphaTauri ahead of the Red Bull Axe. His rear tires are screaming for traction. You can see him drifting through the second chicane there as Luis looking at Axe's rear tires. It is moving all over the place. I do not think has a traction as that is Bailey around in the gravel trap. So that is unfortunate for the other McLaren's race. But here comes Luis. Luis has his DRS actually turned off, which will allow Chandler to pull even more.
Well, overtaking going into Ascari is not easy. It's honestly better for Luis if he has the ability to pull the move going into the first chicane on the main straight. You were just in that race in Tier 2.
I mean, I never got the overtaking. But here we go, Luis with the DRS. He's going to be allowed to overtake Axes. Now we're start seeing a swap between the two, but Chandler able to get ahead. Bailey gets a 5-second time out feeding in the pit lane and retires from the session.
Which is unfortunate.
As I'm looking, as now the DRS train went from 1st to 9th, now it's just from 1st to 5th. But a driver in P5 right now, his name, Ferrari Nut, in the Ferrari, P5, I believe he started, I'm gonna have to look, he started P8.
Yeah, P8.
Oh, flag for Bailey's AI coming out of the pit lane.
Yep. So far, the biggest changer in this, or the biggest mover up in this race is Feta. He's in P4. He started P10.
I think as long as Feta can keep it on the tarmac, I think he'll be able to close out this race and get a good result. As he's all over, as he is starting to gain on Chandler a little bit. I think Chandler's setup may just not be to his liking right now. Because he doesn't look like he has any wing damage.
Well,
but here we go once again.
One thing about Chandler I've noticed, he's not using the battery as much as everyone else around him. So we'll see if that changes as Axe gets the lead.
Once again, as Luis is all over his gearbox. Something that we have not seen so far. And so it definitely shows that everyone is now closer to each other. As all of them are exactly 4 tenths apart from each other. As Raptor is disconnected for the session. Great game, great servers.
I'm on it. Hopefully Raptor went. He did. He had an incident. Good. I don't normally wish drivers have a incident or a track warnings, but it does help for me to get them back in this lobby as soon as I can. And he's here. We'll see. I know he's in a party with a handful of others, so that probably helped as well.
100%. But now Axe is 4 tenths ahead of Luis, 8 now. Luis is having to use his battery to stay within DRS. That is something to look out for later on in this Grand Prix, which means if Luis loses DRS, it's game over.
It is. But one thing I've noticed, Axe has 40%. So does Luis. Chandler, 85. Feta, 47. Ferrari, 17. I wonder if Chandler is just buying his time here. Just being patient.
mean, that is the key to winning races and eventually winning the championship. So right now, he would be gaining on his championship rival, which is Skither. Skither not even showing up to this Grand Prix,
No.
which is absolutely what Chandler wanted for his championship. That way he can lock it as early as possible. So Luis is flirting with the DRS window as he's still able to get it, which will help him pull on Axel here, but he's having to use his battery to even get close to him. But Axel's using it as well to keep him out of the DRS.
Looking at something here. Nice recovery. I know we had Bailey and Crispy retire, but Roscoe, P8, he was that driver that had to make that kind of sort of change of the strategy of the tire compound. He's up to P8. That's a nice recovery for him. It'll be interesting. We have the top 5 here in this DRS train. The front 2 seem to want to play. It's the rest behind them are just sitting and waiting and watching.
Yep, in a DRS train this tight, one mistake, one missing a corner, one losing grip, it could cost you this race. So you have to be like picture clean perfect to have a chance at a podium.
The one thing that everyone in this top 5 they have the same weapons. They're all on 11 lap mediums. The question's going to be is who's going to be easier on their tires. That might play a role later on because we're working lap 17 of 27. So that could be something to keep an eye on later on. We've heard the thing that, hey, being behind a car helps you save tire life. So front 2 are aggressive with that. They've been swapping a little bit lately. Axis had the lead for the last handful of laps here. But we'll see, with Chandler sitting back there, setup sitting back there, maybe that might prevail later on.
I mean, we're going to have to wait and see, as now we have 10 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. Or 9, whatever you want to count.
Luis thought about it.
I count 10. Oh, Axe misses a corner! Like what I said, losing traction. It is absolutely going to ruin your race, but luckily for Axe, he was the first driver in this train, but now Luis and Chandler both get ahead of the AlphaTauri driver's race. He's still on for 15 points for finishing P3, but still, I think we already found one driver that is not helping his tire life.
Indeed, we have. That was Chandler to P2.
Oh, Luis as well! I saw it from Axe's POV there. Luis had a snap coming out of Lesmo 1.
I tell you.
Definitely. Go ahead.
They're not. They're going for it for that. That's for sure. You finally have one Cody so far. So Sanchez can get 3 second. He sits at P6. Looking at Luis, he has 33% on the battery. Chandler has twice of that, if not more.
I mean, here we go once again on the main straight. Going to be such a... Oh, fry nut! Locks up on the inch of the corner. His rears are starting to slide, and he had to take evasive action. Thankfully did not cut the corner to get himself a time penalty, because this game gives you 10 seconds even though you lose time from it. But does not get a penalty, does not cut the course, and he's able to continue on, and he's still within this DRS.
Yep. Chandler's not used the button. When will he use the button?
Honestly, Chandler may not even make a move at all until like lap 26. It depends how close Axe is.
Well, if I remember last year, Chandler and Bailey were kind of sort of in this position. Kind of sort of the question of where do you want to be getting the last lap? Do you want to be the car ahead, or do you want to be the car behind getting DRS? Because like we mentioned, The second DRS straight going out of Ascari, it's not as open as it is on the main straight.
Honestly, if I'm in that situation, I'd rather be the car behind. Because you get so much overspeed, especially with Chandler's battery. You're going to get the overspeed and the DRS to help you. And then once you get the lead, you could just dump it all to keep him behind.
Yeah.
Oh, Ash!
Ash
Very deep! Makes contact!
Yeah.
And he spins off. As Feta has to take evasive action and gets a 3-second from it, which moves Ferrari Nut in the Ferrari. It's Tifosi virtually cheering him on, but that has ruined the DRS train. As Feta once again these drivers starting to get their shoulders out, starting to throw right hooks at each other. Lap 20 out of 27, starting to ramp up a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately what happened to Feta. Hopefully see a clip of that maybe later on, if that was just evasive action having to move. Maybe he gets that 3-second remove. However, up front, Luis now borderline has that 1-second gap, which means that Chandler will not have DRS. Chandler might have to use the battery. He is on the battery.
I mean, Luis is at 10%, 9 now. He's going to start blinking soon, which he is. Chandler gets the DRS, which is going to be important, very important, considering that Feta is already 2 seconds off of Chandler.
Yep.
Now
Chandler uses the battery to get back into the DRS, so it's just now these two, as Feta now has Ferrari and Axel over them, unknown if Axe has any damage. So I don't think he does, being the fact that he can still keep with these guys.
I don't think he does. I think, from what I could tell, his rears do not like him. He is fighting the car quite a lot right now. So I think he just needs to preserve tire life at this point. Do not fight anybody if I was him. Just save the tire and have at least something remaining for these last few laps. So now here we go once again onto the second DRS straight. As Frana is 3/10 behind Feta. Let's see if he's going to go for it. He turns off the DRS. Same with Axe. Axe very deep on the brakes, a lot deeper than the Ferrari nut, which could be what happened in turn 1 between the Axe and Chandler. Was Chandler preserving tire life, lifting off, and then hitting the brakes? Then Axe was not ready for it.
Well, Chandler's also building back his battery. It was in the 50s, now it's in the 70s. He could be having that build back up, and then wait till the closing laps, then have his go. Got nothing to worry out back.
He does not indeed, especially when Feta has to worry about 2 drivers passing him. He's going to have to look in his mirrors. He would get that 3-second time penalty removed, you never know. So the fight for podium and the win is still on. Stay tuned, get your popcorn, like me, and wait for the finish of this Grand Prix, which will be absolutely amazing, by the way.
Yeah, right now we're kind of seeing sort of, I think, a tactical battle up front with Chandler and Luis. Luis leads. He has the pace to lead. I just think Chandler's I think he's just buying his time. I think he's just, once he presses the button late in this to activate the battery is when he's going to do it. Not only to overtake, then only to defend. It's just a question of when will he do it.
Something while you're talking is that Ferrari Nut got passed by Axe, and I believe Axe's weaving was probably meant that Ferrari Nut did not fight it much. But Feta, without the threat of Ferrari Nut or Axe, as of right now, he's already gained half a second on Chandler.
Yeah. Feta would love to find a way to get out of the 1-second DRS between Axe and Ferrari Nut behind him. Not only could that push on his Axe as the moment they're on exit, not only would that help Feta maybe on his charge for the front 2, but it could help him produce a gap for him to keep P3.
I mean, from what I could tell, what got him 3 seconds, him cutting the course, he lost time from it. So he could use it as a defense to get that 3 second removed, but of course he'd have to provide race director.
Let me ask you a
As
question
he is,
without looking. What do you think Chandler's battery is at right now?
I have it up on my screen right now. I will not lie.
Yeah. I think we know what Chandler's doing.
Yep.
And Luis,
I mean,
what does he have? I mean, he has to, I guess, use it a little bit to get the battery up, but he also has to use it to, I guess, keep the lead.
I mean, if I'm Luis at this point,
Oh, Jack has crashed out. Is that going to be a safety car? It is a safety car.
Oh, softs to the end.
So
No question. I think we're gonna have a 2-lap dash.
you know that gif of like someone with all the papers and they just throw it up in the air? That's this right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to pit for softs, and if anyone had a 5-second penalty, they can get that removed by pitting, but no one has that. We have a 3. But this is going to be one mad dash to the end right now. We're working lap 23. Everyone's going to pit. Roscoe's already in. I don't know if that's going to benefit him in any way.
I mean, I think we're gonna. In this situation, we always have that one driver that decides to gamble and stay out. Do you think we're gonna have that one driver, especially with Frynut? Oh yeah. As we're working through Parabolica, let's see if anyone pits. Everyone does, not to anybody's surprise. To be honest, I thought one driver was gonna then everybody is in the pit lane. Get a fresh boot of sauce for this 2-lap dash. Or it could be 3. Hold on, let me check. Nope, 2-lap dash. So this is going to be climatic. Very, very climatic, but this does not help Chandler at all, because this regenerates everyone up to 100%. Well, boy. Do you see on everybody's batteries are generated? Like you said earlier, everyone has the same weapons.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
Retro stayed out surprisingly. Well, I think he's trying to stay out to catch the cue.
He's an A still. Wasn't able to get back in. That 4-1 betting on a Chandler, you're gonna lose some money here if you can't get around Luis. And if you bet it on Luis, you're winning a couple $1,000. But you never know. Safety car is having to come in this lap.
Yeah, it does. Well, safety car just confirmed that.
2-lap dash to the end. Have your popcorn out.
Wow.
Get your Coke or Dr. Pepper out. I have my popcorn out.
This is going to be an old school finish because no one will have. I don't think anyone's going to have DRS for this. There's going to be 2 laps to go, right?
Nope.
All right, so
You're correct.
So it's going to be whoever can send it, be the last driver on the brakes. But send it in sensible. They have 9 guys here. Actually 8. I don't think Rexo's going to catch up in time.
Nope, he's not.
When does Luis press the button? When does he go?
He should go as late as possible. As he goes now, he caught off Chandler by a huge margin. Someone who did not get caught out much by this is Sanchez. He's all over Frynut. Everyone is dumping their battery, except for Luis and Chandler. As here we go. Oh, that's a bit of front wing contact. Sanchez makes a move on Frida, giving him no space whatsoever as Roscoe does a little loop there. Was able to get it back going. Now, that has undone the Ferrari's race. But now we focus for the battle for the lead and the podium. Chandler is gaining a little bit more on Luis, but Luis, just do not look in the mirror. Do not worry, as Frida is around, actually.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Which is unfortunate. Just keep it going. You'll get 4 points.
Luis still has the lead.
Raptor is all over Sanchez. Sanchez has no, I believe, that is left side end plate. So that will promote Raptor up to P5. Yes. Look at the McLaren at P3. The driver we talked about, as long as he can just finish the race, man, with no mistakes, you're going to be on for a good result. Look at him go in the McLaren. They're going to get a podium. Probably going to have to get that penalty removed, though.
Oh, yeah, we'll see.
I'm not going to speak too soon on it. As we're on the final lap of this Grand Prix, Chandler, 3 tenths behind Luis. Luis breaking the slipstream. They're both using the battery. They're both on equal battery. Will Chandler send it?
He thought about it.
No, he makes him fall for it. He fell for it. Chandler's going to get an exit. Is this... Oh, Chandler gets a bit of a snap. He's going to have to use the battery.
They're on the same equal...
With the assist of slipstream.
They're about the same on the battery.
Yes, Chandler will slipstream. He's going to have overspeed on the inside for the second chicane. Oh, Luis had to go off track. He gained time from that. Could Chandler be a little... He could send that to the stewards. Luis is going to have to give... Luis gained time from that. That could be a steward inquiry. But now we're going on the final straight. Feta is fighting off Axe for the bottom step of the podium. Action is everywhere. Feta not using the battery. Axe, no, that's not Axe, that's Chandler. Axe at 35, cutting the course, Axe does. But on parabolic for the final
might
time.
Have to go here.
Here comes Chandler. Chandler is all over Luis, but he has no battery. They're both blinking. Chandler's gonna have to send it. Going through Parabolica for the final time. Luis all over the curb. He gets the better exit. That's the yellow flag. Freund's retired. That's the 90%. He gets the points. But coming around Parabolica, it will be Luis taking the win from Chandler in P2. Axe in P3 for now. But it could be Feta P3. But for now, it is Feta P4. Man, what a race.
What a great race. Feta should win driver of the day. We'll see. He does.
There he is.
Well deserved. Well deserved indeed.
Wow, what a fantastic ending.
What a finish.
To this Grand Prix.
Well, we'll have the podium ceremonies and the interviews. We'll get Luis, Chandler, and Axe in here. I'll do that now. Send the invites.
Wow, isn't that kind of funny to me? Mexican, American, American, Mexican.
North America. No.
Yeehaw!
That's, I believe, Luis's first win of this season for Tier 1. I'm going to bring up the points yet to confirm that. And the answer will be... Load. It will be. In his third start, he gets to win.
Congrats to him. His first Tier 1 victory.
Axe gets his first podium of the season. So that's good for him. And although no one likes second place is always the first loser and everyone doesn't like it. But Chandler will extend his championship lead going into Japan with 3 races remaining. We have Chandler here. I've sent the invites to the other 2. Okay. Is your audio?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see about that. Waiting for Axe. I don't know if he has a mic or not. I'll send him another.
Likely should.
Send him another invite, and I will Luis another invite just in case. And if they don't join, they don't join. I guess while we're waiting for P3 and P1 to join, I will start with Chandler. Chandler, I guess I have to talk about that last lap battle with Luis. Luis had to cut the corner. Just talk about that.
Yeah, so I had the run out with Scary lap 26. He nailed the restart on me, so I had the run out of Scary on lap 26 to set me up for the main straight, but then the exit just was lacking, and then also running out of deployment earlier than him, so that cost me. But then he weaved to the right, and so I knew that he was going to try to defend it, but then he went back. But then he went late. I saw he went late. I tried to set him up for the exit, but then I got a little loose, and so I still had the run on him. And then, I was prepared to take the risk on, I could stay behind and take P2 easy, but I wanted to win, so I went down his inside a bit. And I definitely left room on the inside. There was room, 100%. I've got my POV, but then I see that he just cuts the chicane. And so right then there, I knew that, it's not always fun to take the race to the stewards, especially when it's for the race win, but I believe that he could have made the corner. He didn't make an effort to, so I'll take it to the stewards with my POV, and if it ends up going in my favor, then I would have to win there. If not, then it'll just be P2. Either way, I do extend my championship lead, so I can't really complain.
Yep, well, we'll see about that later on with the stewards. I have to ask you one question. The safety car came out, and that changed the whole complexion of the ending of the race. One thing I noticed is you sat there in P2, and you weren't using the battery. What was your ideal plan? Kind of just sit there and then just all of a sudden at the end go for it?
Yeah, so the safety car came out, but the next lap is when I was planning my overtake. I was saving my tires very well. Like, my tire wear was amazing. My tires were only at like 43%, I think, when the safety car came out. I don't know if Action remembers what his is, but if he does, then that could be a comparison. I think I was saving my tires. If I wasn't, then
we're a little bit better.
Okay, so yeah, and any bit of wear at a track like this, if you can save any, it's definitely worth it, because there's no way I was dropping out of DRS. At a track like this, you can't drop someone out of DRS no matter how slow they are. So I was just going to sit in P2 with a full battery, then I can just blow past. And I knew Luis had no battery because like 2 laps prior he was blinking. But then the safety car came out, and that just completely screwed everything. At that point, I figured Luis had won it, because it's hard to burn your whole battery down in 2 laps at Monza.
With also having no DRS.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Normally, Zach would interview the winner of this race, but Luis is not here. So, Zach, do you have any questions?
I do. Chandler, next week is Suzuka. How is your pace around there, or have you done any laps? But overall, how are you expecting Japan to go for you and the championship?
Well, I haven't done any real laps there since Tier 1 last season. I did do some TT there for WOR time trials, but that doesn't really matter. But I think that's a track that can go well for me. I think with how my performance has changed from last season to this season, my pace will go really well. Will go really well there. So we just have to see, but I think it'll be similar to how it's been the last few weeks.
That will be it, at least from us.
Well, I'll have one more question for Chandler. 3 races remaining. You lead the championship. You've been down this road before. Any thoughts on that?
I think it's just continue to show up with Skip and not making it, even if I don't get the win. It's just do each race. I might be missing like one more race, but that's just one race, so I should be fine either way. So it's just finishing the races, and it should be championship done.
Well, you're certainly on the right track. Luis isn't here, so we'll move to Axe. Axe, you finished P3. I don't know with Fetta's penalty, that's going to be talked about. I don't know if that was because he had to avoid contact. We don't know, but whatever. Talk about your race. Your first podium of Tier 1, I think.
It might be. I don't know. No, actually I had a second in Portimao, but that was about it. That's really been the highlight of the season. Qualifying was okay. Just kind of got my lap in and beat everyone else's other one shot. So started up front, stayed up front most of the day. Was able to get to the. I was able to get to the front. My pace on mediums seemed really good compared to others. Chandler was sliding a little bit, and Luis looked a little bit oversteer, and my setup felt pretty good. Was able to get to the lead, and then I gave myself 2 laps to see if I could break from Luis because he was struggling really bad at one point, and I wasn't sure how much ERS he had at that point. So I gave myself 2 laps, didn't break it, so kind of just laid back a little bit. And then my wheel bugged into turn 1, and that half spun me around. That's when I dropped back to P3. And then it bugged again the next lap, and I hit Chandler, and Fed had to avoid me. So I think it's going to be P4 today. Unfortunate, but it is how it goes in this game. You all know it.
I can speak from experience. I was going to ask what happened there, but you covered that off. Wheel glitches are very fun in this game. By fun, I mean not really.
Very fun.
It's very not annoying. Very annoying. Indeed. But, I mean, yeah, solid weekend for you. If it wasn't for that, I mean, you could have been in probably contention. You were right up there with Chandler and Luis for this race.
Yeah, it's good to see because even I'm playing the game a lot less. I'm trying to enjoy other stuff right now. Summer's coming up, and still have good pace. So it's good for the future, for whatever I want to do coming into F1 22 and the upcoming season. So it gives me good hope.
Yep. I've known you. I've seen your pace not only in this league but the other league that Bailey was in earlier. I'm very happy for you. If you keep the podium, great. You deserve it. We'll see what happens with that, but it wasn't by anything that you did a fantastic job tonight. Zach, any questions for X?
You left me with crumbs, boy. Anyway.
Sorry.
You left me with crumbs. I have to choose cold custard. I'm joking. I love that meme. But anyway, X, with you, I believe what Boss said. You were tied with 9th with 3 other drivers, or that was just, which is the case. If that is the case, I don't remember. With that good result of 15th, 15 points, could be 12, but with that, even if, how are you feeling to secure at least some position to the championship, and what is your confidence going forward at Suzuka?
I finished 2nd in Suzuka last season to Luis, who used line, so I feel pretty good around there. Hopefully can get another good result back to back. That would be pretty nice. Championship, I really haven't looked at it. If I'm tied with a couple people for P9, that's a bit disappointing to me. I feel like it should be up in the top 5 easily. So I think that should be my goal. Try and keep getting these results top 5s, top 3s as best I can, and see how far I can vault up in the final couple rounds we've got.
Well, you have any questions?
No, I don't. I think we've covered off everything that we needed to cover off between our 2nd place and our 3rd place finisher. Yeah.
Alrighty then. But that will conclude the Tier 1 Breakout Racing League stream on Twitch from Monza. Tomorrow we have ACC, I believe. I'm not sure which track. Make sure to tune in whenever that goes live. And after that, next week, you heard it, we go to Japan, Suzuka, which is going to be an iconic track to go to with Ayrton Senna and Alan Prost, all that, yada yada. But it's going to be a lot of action there that week, and we will see you then.
Indeed we will.